My neighbor was living a double life, and I found out by accident. I always thought I was lucky to live on Maple Ridge Lane. It was one of those picture-perfect neighborhoods. Trimmed hedges, matching mailboxes, Christmas decorations that looked like Pinterest boards exploded in everyone's yard. We had block parties, wine nights, a neighborhood group chat. Everyone knew everyone, or at least I thought we did. My name is Alana, and until last summer, I believed my biggest problem was deciding whether to repaint my kitchen, cabinets white or sage green. Then I met Marissa. Marissa moved into the house directly across from mine in early spring. She was mid-30s, polished, always in expensive athleisure, driving a glossy black SUV that never seemed to get dirty. She introduced herself with a bottle of wine and the kind of smile that made you feel instantly included. "Hi, I'm your new neighbor," she said, holding out her hand, like we were sealing a business deal, instead of standing barefoot on my porch. Within weeks, she became part of everything. Morning walks, yoga in her living room, Friday charcuterie nights. She was magnetic, effortlessly charming, the kind of woman who remembered everyone's birthday, and somehow always brought the best appetizer. But there was something slightly off. She never invited anyone fully into her home. We stayed in the living room, or the patio, or the kitchen. Never upstairs, never past the hallway. At first, I brushed it off. Boundaries are healthy. Then the packages started coming. Every week, giant boxes addressed to different names. Not aliases exactly, and just different last names. I noticed it one afternoon while grabbing my mail. "Wow, you do a lot of online shopping," I joked. She laughed, a little too fast. "Oh, those are for work. I help manage accounts for clients." That made sense. Kind of. But then I saw something that didn't. One Saturday, I was driving back from the grocery store when I noticed a moving truck parked outside. Her house. I slowed down, confused. Marissa was outside directing movers, carrying out furniture, large pieces, couches, dining chairs, artwork. I parked across the street and got out. "Are you moving?" I asked. She froze for a second, then smiled. "Oh, just redecorating. I'm swapping some pieces," except everything was being loaded into the truck. Everything. By Monday, the house looked identical to how it had when she first moved in. Like she'd never lived there. I told myself I was overthinking, until I saw her, across town, with a completely different name. 3 weeks later, I was at a local coffee shop on the other side of town. I had a meeting with a client. I heard someone laugh behind me. That laugh. I turned. And there she was. Marissa, except the barista called her Vanessa. "Vanessa, your usual oat latte." She smiled and waved. She was sitting with 2 women I'd never seen before. And she was telling them she had just moved into Pine Grove Estates. Pine Grove Estates. That was 20 minutes from Maple Ridge. I felt my stomach drop. I stayed quiet. Watched. Listened. She talked about her house. Her new neighbors. Her fresh start. The details were identical to what she'd told us months ago. Same jokes. Same anecdotes. Same moving story. It was rehearsed. Like she was playing a role. I left before she saw me, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, curiosity turned into obsession. I drove to Pine Grove Estates, and I found her car, parked in another driveway, in front of another house. Identical SUV, same license plate, lights on inside. I sat there in silence, heart pounding. Was she renting 2 homes? Why? Who was she really? And why did it feel like she was running 2 completely separate lives? The next week, I did something I'm not proud of. I followed her. She left Maple Ridge at 9 a.m., drove straight to Pine Grove, parked, went inside. She stayed there until 2 p.m., then left. Drove back to Maple Ridge, hosted yoga in her living room at 6 p.m., smiled like nothing was strange. I felt insane, like I was the one losing it, until I knocked on the Pine Grove door. And someone else answered. A woman. Blonde, early 40s, confused. "Yes?" "Hi," I said carefully. "I'm looking for Vanessa." Her expression changed instantly. "How do you know that name?" "I'm her neighbor." The woman went quiet, then stepped outside and closed the door behind her. "My name is Claire," she said slowly. "And Vanessa is my business partner." "Business partner. She helps me manage rental properties," Claire continued. "Why?" "Rental properties." My mind clicked. "Does she own this house?" I asked. Claire's face hardened. "No, I do." Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "She's not your neighbor. She's renting that house too." Renting. Both homes. Under different names. Living part-time in each. Recreating the same persona. Turns out Marissa or Vanessa wasn't just redecorating. She was staging. She would rent homes in upscale neighborhoods. Fully furnish them. Integrate into the community. Build trust. Build connections. Then she'd leverage those connections for investment opportunities. Small ones at first. A local startup. A real estate flip. A wellness retreat partnership. She convinced people to invest. Then disappeared. Before suspicion grew. By the time people compared notes, she was gone. New neighborhood. New name. New life. And the most chilling part? The other woman, Claire, knew. She wasn't a victim. She was part of it. They rotated houses, rotated identities, backed each other up when needed. If someone questioned one, the other vouched. A perfectly constructed illusion. And before I tell you what I did next, subscribe if you like daily Reddit drama, because this only gets messier from here. I didn't confront her immediately. I waited, gathered screenshots, saved messages, took photos of the moving trucks. Then I did something bold. I organized a neighborhood investment meeting. I told everyone Marissa had an exciting opportunity to present. She was thrilled. Showed up glowing. Wine in hand, slides ready. Claire even showed up as her partner. And then I projected everything onto the wall. Photos of the second house, copies of rental agreements, her 2 driver's licenses, 2 different names. Silence fell so hard you could hear someone swallow. Her smile didn't fade. It twitched. Then she laughed. You've misunderstood. But I kept going. I showed the moving truck footage. The Pine Grove HOA listing. Testimonials from previous neighborhoods I'd tracked down online. They'd done this 3 times before. Collected over $180,000 across different communities, and vanished each time. The room shifted. People stepped back from her. Physically. Like betrayal was contagious. Claire tried to grab her purse and leave. But someone had already called the police. Marissa looked at me once. Not angry. Not scared. Impressed. You're smarter than the others, she said quietly. That's when I realized something terrifying. She didn't feel guilty. She felt challenged. They were arrested that night. Fraud charges, identity manipulation, financial crimes. Turns out they weren't married to anyone, didn't belong to any neighborhood, didn't have permanent homes. They built temporary realities, over and over. And people like me, trusting, community-loving, optimistic, when we're the foundation. I still live on Maple Ridge. The house across from mine is empty again. For sale. Sometimes I catch myself wondering how many versions of her are still out there. How many Marissas are smiling on porches right now? And every time a new moving truck pulls into the neighborhood, I watch. Very carefully. Because once you've seen behind the curtain, you never fully trust the stage again.